Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make popiah from my family's recipe. Now all the ingredients and recipe will be in the description box below. First, you need to prep your firm tofu. Now soft tofu or silken tofu won't work for this recipe, so you need about 4 to 5 pieces of this firm tofu over low heat in a big wok that you have. Now grate this over the wok. Now make sure you have ample oil for this to fry. Now this is a frying tofu, and you are going to fry this until it becomes golden brown. Take your time, do not rush. Once in a while, make sure that you stir the tofu so that it doesn't clump up, and to make sure that this tofu will be golden brown for each and every bit. Next, you will need to prepare cabbage. Now you can use normal cabbage or you can use the sweet cabbage. Now the ratio of cabbage to long bean, for my preferred ratio will be 2 cabbages to 1 part of long bean. So long bean and cabbages, you need to have enough of them, because too much of long bean will cover the sweetness of the cabbage. Too much of the cabbage will cover the flavorful coming from the long bean. So once you slice them up, then you chop it into a fine pieces of cabbage, as you can see here. Alright, now you need to prepare your long bean. So as you can see here, I'm actually slicing my long bean instead of like cutting it the normal way. Now this method was handed down from my grandmother to my auntie and now to our generation. So I've tried various methods. In the end, I still preferred this method because this method actually exposes more of the inner parts of the long bean, thus making the popiah filling more flavorful, as well as making it a little more sweeter, and you have that long bean flavor more. Now this method is not easy, I would say. I did learn this like a few takes and then only started to grasp this method. Now you will like to use a long chef knife with a very sharp knife. Don't use a dull knife for this, or you will get a very thick pieces of the long bean from this cutting method. Okay, after you have done with your long bean, next you need to grate the carrot. This carrot you only need about medium size. It is more giving a color to the popiah instead of giving flavor to the popiah filling, because without this it will look more of a very dull popiah filling. Okay, next to that, you need to prepare your mangkuang or sweet turnip or sengkuang. So this one you need to grate also. I'm using a coarse grater. You can use whatever grate you have, grater that you have at home. Now this one is very important. You need about 2 medium size mangkuang or 1 big one. If you cannot find, you can find a few more of the smaller one. Now what this does to the popiah filling, it will give it a very sweet, savory type of flavor. Once you are done with grating the carrot, the red carrot and this mangkuang, you need to squeeze out the juices from these 2 vegetables. Now the juices of this vegetable, if you don't squeeze it out, it will make the popiah filling like a soup, because it will pull water when we add in salt later on when we when we do the cooking later on. So you can choose to squeeze like this, or you put it in a cheesecloth and then squeeze it to squeeze out the juice. Once you are done with that, do not throw away these juices. These juices is very sweet. You can take it as a juice, carrot juice. Alright, the last ingredient is ground pork. You can buy ground pork from your local butcher, or you can do what I do here, which is to grind it on your own. I have this machine around, and I have a few pieces of pork. Now if you don't like pork, you can substitute with ground chicken meat. It will taste a little bit less than this one with the pork. Going to assemble everything. So cut 1 or 2 pieces of shallot and then put it in. You don't need to wait for it to be fragrant. Next, you put in the ground pork, the ground meat that you already have. You don't need much, around 200 grams to half a kilo, depending how much you want your how much meat you want in your Pohpiah filling. Okay, once your pork is fully cooked, next we're going to put in the long bean. The order of the vegetable is important because each vegetable will take a different amount of time to be cooked. The goal here is actually to overcook a little bit of your vegetable. We don't want it to be just cooked with crisp. Alright, now is the time for you to add in your seasoning, the salt, the MSG, the ground white pepper or the ground black pepper. Now don't put too much in because we are going to add more seasoning as we cook the vegetable. Okay, so once the long bean has been partially cooked, now we are ready to put in the cabbage. Now if you can see here, we make a hole in the middle so that the cabbage will have some place to be put on. Now you can see that this cabbage already take up almost all of the wok. That's why you need a very big wok. So if you don't have big wok and you still want to do this much filling, you can do them in batches. Alright, stir in your cabbage. Make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the wok, bottom of your pan. And then you can add in your carrot, your mangkuang. Okay, so carrot, mangkuang and cabbage, you can add them around the same time, but make sure that you add in the long bean first to cook the long bean so that it is almost the same texture at the end of the cooking. Alright, so now we patiently wait for the vegetable to cook. So always keep stirring, keep an eye that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the wok. Keep an eye that your heat is at the medium heat. If you find it is too low, you can crank it up, or if you find it too hot, lower the heat. Okay, so the goal here is to take control of the heat. Okay, before we finish our cooking, I'm going to add in fish sauce. So if you're vegetarian or if you don't like fish sauce, you can skip this step. Taste your vegetable, make sure that it is enough seasoning. So if there's not enough, then you add in your salt, your MSG, whatever that needs to be added in. So this is how the vegetable, the Pohpiah filling should look like. Now this is a vegetarian friendly, so you can skip the ground meat, you can skip the fish sauce and the shallot, and it will make a very good vegetarian Pohpiah filling. So I hope you have fun learning my family's recipe for this Pohpiah filling. Do stay tuned for the Pohpiah skin which we homemade, and here is a little bit of sneak peek of this Pohpiah skin that we did try to make for the first time after this long time of seeing our elderly do this Pohpiah skin. Now take care, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.